Dear fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, many of you know that I like to travel, but what you might not know is that sometimes I travel with idiots. And this is going to be the topic of my speech today. Let me start with something that happened last summer. I was on my way to Los Angeles to ride roller coasters. And I was flying United Airlines, had to connect in Newark, New Jersey. Now, Newark, New Jersey is not a place where you want to be under any circumstances, but this one was particularly painful because there were delays and cancellations, everything was a mess at the airport. This was already in the evening, and my flight too was delayed. First 1 hour, then 1 hour 40 minutes, and then the screen changed to 3 hours. And this was just too much for me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stay here at the airport tonight and then catch the next flight tomorrow morning instead. So I approached the friendly United Airlines employee in the lounge, and I asked her to change my flight. And I had this whole story. I was going to tell her how long I've been traveling. I came all the way from Switzerland so late. And she says, sir, I'm going to change your flight if you stop talking. Because I have been here since 5 a.m. dealing with idiots like you. Well, she didn't say the last part, but it was felt, it was implied. And this is what sometimes happens, is that we're not on our best behavior, we're not mindful of how we should be behaving, especially in a stressful situation. And I think we've all seen examples of this, and on this particular flight I saw 3 very specific examples. You know how in the US when you fly on your boarding pass it's going to have a little group on it. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, depending on your class of service and your status. There were 3 groups of passengers on this flight. Maybe you will recognize some of them. The first group of fellow passengers, the blockers. These are the people whose job it is to make sure that you cannot negotiate the airport. For example, this group includes the people who don't know how to go through the security checkpoint. We all know about these liquid regulations that have been in place for more than a decade now. But still there's that one guy who tries to smuggle in a bottle of juice. There's that one guy who refuses to put his little toiletries in the little bag and is blocking the way for the rest of us. But the blockers don't only operate there, because the blockers also include the people who don't know how to board an aircraft. There's always the one guy who has plenty of time at the gate area to get prepared, but no, he waits. He waits until he is on board the aircraft. This is when he starts taking off his coat, starts taking off his bag, starts taking his laptop in the middle of the aisle where everybody is waiting. He's blocking the way. And because this is in the US, you know that he had a slice of pizza in one hand.
No.
The blockers of the first group. The second group, the sheep. These are the people who don't know how to think for themselves and only follow the person in front of them. You've all seen them, I think. You can spot them especially at the gate. These are the people who, before the gate opens, they line up. They stand in line there, 20 minutes before the gate opens, 30 minutes, 40 minutes before, they just stand there. They all know that they have assigned seats, but they all queue up. Why are you standing there? You're not going to get on board any quicker. The sheep. They do this because somebody else did. But the sheep are also in operation at the end of the flight. As soon as the plane touches down, it comes to a stop. What do the sheep do? They stand up. They stand up in the aisle to do what? To stand in line again in the aisle. But why are you standing there? The door hasn't even opened. And my favorite thing about the sheep is that, okay, maybe the plane stopped, but if that wasn't the final destination, the plane moves again and they all fall over. The sheep are very And then we come to the final group of people, the antisocials. These are the people who don't know how to behave aboard an aircraft. For example, there's a guy who's too wide for one seat, so he ends up taking half of your seat. There's the parents of the unsupervised children, where the kids are running up and down the aisle, literally running, bumping into things, spilling drinks, and you know that when they bump their head into something and they start crying, they are ruining that flight for everybody. But my favorite part of the antisocial group, saw this a couple of years ago. Guy sitting in a seat in the row, no socks on, his foot on the seat. He was clipping his toenail. I saw him as I was going to the bathroom. I had to turn back and see, did I really see that right? Yeah. He was clipping his toenails with 2 passengers next to him.
No.
Disgusting. Disgusting. So these are the people that I had to share my journey with. But then I hear the flight announced from the speakers. I'm slightly disoriented. What's happening? I'm in the lounge. I must have fallen asleep. It was all just a nightmare. I don't have to deal with these people after all. I exit the lounge, go through the gate and have a seat in the airplane, confident that I will be able to enjoy my dream vacation. Until from the back, I hear the sound of a nail clipper. Madam Toastmaster.